Well, it has now been a little bit more than an hour since Oklahoma put Phillip Hancock to death. My co-anchor Reagan Ledbetter witnessed this execution. We want to get to him now to talk about what happened. And Reagan, this execution actually started a little later.
Yeah, it did, Autumn. This execution was set for 10 o'clock this morning, but because the Pardon and Parole Board had recommended clemency for Phillip Hancock, it was up to the governor to decide whether to move forward today or to commute Hancock's sentence. So we were all waiting to see what would happen with that, but we found out after the execution, because it didn't start for about an hour and 15 minutes late, we did find out that there was a last-minute legal request by Hancock's team that came in at around 9:10 this morning, and the governor's office asked the Department of Corrections staff to pause the process. And then an hour went by, and that's when the governor's office asked the DOC staff to proceed with today's execution. So we got in the execution chamber at about 11 o'clock this morning. Then the process started at 11:15. Now, when it started, Phillip Hancock was very animated when they raised the curtain in the chamber. He started off by thanking the supporters he had in the attendance. Two of them were attorneys from Pennsylvania. But then he spent most of his 2 minutes that he had to give his final words basically bashing the Attorney General, Gettner Drummond, and his office. He reemphasized that this was self-defense. He called Attorney General Gettner Drummond a liar. He said Drummond was hoodwinked in all of this, and he kind of said that people need to see all the evidence that Drummond has withheld. He spent quite a while going through what happened back in 2001 with these murders and again, reemphasized the fact that this was self-defense. After that all happened, Hancock kept talking after the microphone was off, and that went on for quite a while. Eventually, he was declared unconscious at about 10:19, and then the process kept going, and it was declared dead at 11:29. I'm sorry. After the execution, we heard from the victims' families of James Lynch and Robert Jett, and all of them said kind of the same thing. They've been waiting 22 years for justice, and they say today they finally got their justice. They said they wanted to thank the Attorney General's office as well as the state of Oklahoma for carrying out that justice today. And this was the final execution in the state for this year. The first execution of 2024 is scheduled for February.